Hi everybody, it's Miss Lassiter. I'm here today to talk to you about different types of rounding. The first one I'm just going to hit on very quickly, and that is the one that was most common, and when people talk about rounding to the nearest, and then they state a place value. In this example, if I ask you to round to the nearest thousand, you would take each number, the 6,329 and the 7,824. Since we're rounding to the nearest thousands place, we look one space to the right, and it's a 3. If it's 4 and below, let it go. So that would round to 6,000. When we have 7,824, we look at the 8 in the hundreds place. It's 5 and above, so we have to give the 7 a shove, and it becomes 8,000. You add 6,000 plus 8,000 for a fairly nice estimate of 14,000 as a sum of those two numbers. However, we are going to move on from there and look and see what happens in different types of rounding. The first one is a very simple one called front-end estimation, and this is a rough estimate, and with the same problem we just did before, we look for rounding to the nearest thousands. We take the number 6,329 and we take the front end of it, and we have 6,000. We then look at 7,824 and we take the front end of that, and we have 7,000. You add 6,000 plus 7,000 for a total of 13,000. This estimate is not quite as accurate as before because we have not taken into consideration anything past the thousands place value. The next type of rounding is called front-end estimation with adjustment. So rounding to the nearest thousands is very similar. We start it like we did before. We take the front end, so we have the 6,000 plus 7,000 for a starting estimate of 13,000. Now the adjustment part is we are going to look one space to the right of the thousands, which is the 100. So we are going to take the 3, so we have 300, take the 8, and its value is 800. When you add 300 plus 800, you get 1,100. Since we're rounding to the nearest thousands, we're going to round 1,100 to the nearest thousands. It rounds to 1,000. So we are going to adjust our initial estimate by 1,000, and we have 13,000 plus 1,000 for a total of 14,000. I'm going to ask you to pause now and try these front-end estimation with adjustment. And so go ahead and pause your video, and then you can click it to start again. Here are the solutions for these problems. Hopefully your answers agree with this. If not, please make sure to check in class with your teacher or another student. The only time we use front-end estimation with adjustment for addition and subtraction, and absolutely every time you are going to adjust by adding. There is one exception, and I am going to show that to you now. When we have 7,213 plus 1,159, we take the front end, the 7 and the 1, so we have 7,000 plus 1,000, and we get a total of 8,000. We then look at the hundreds, the 2 and the 1, so we have 200 plus 100 for a total of 300. 300 is closer to 0 than it is to 1,000. So we say 300 rounds to 0, so no adjustment is needed because when you add 0, you're not adding anything. Now, in subtraction, we do the exact same thing. We take the front end, the 9 and the 2, and we do 9,000 minus 2,000, which equals 7,000. 6,000. Now, for the adjustment part, we are going to look at the 8 and the 1. We do 800 minus 100, which is 700. The 700 rounds to 1,000. So again, we have to adjust. We have to add 1,000 to our estimate. So we have 7,000 plus 1,000 equals 8,000. Now, here is the exception. I take the front end. I do 9,000 minus 2,000, and I get 7,000. Now, when I look in the next column of the hundreds, I have a 1 and I have a 9. And I have to do 100 minus 900. This is when I want you to say, yikes! Because we can't really do 100 minus 900 and stay in the positive numbers. This is the time when, since you said yikes, I'm going to ask you to switch the order. So 900 minus 100, which equals 800. So 800 rounds to 1,000. And because we had said yikes, instead of addition for my adjustment, I am going to subtract. So I do 7,000 minus 1,000 for a total of 6,000. Thank you. Have a good day. Actually, one more thing. I'd like you to try these following two subtractions with front-end estimation with adjustment. Good luck. We'll go over the answers tomorrow.